subsequent cover-up of 4 men who were framed for murder. Here with more, Fox News contributor Sarah Carter, civil rights criminal defense attorney David Schoen, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. I never understood Weissman. Now that we have finally investigated Mueller, I get it. They're 2 peas in a pod.
It was on Mueller's watch that 4 innocent men were framed by the FBI that concealed evidence, and Mueller's the guy who fought clemency for them even after this was learned. And remember, it was also Mueller and Comey who botched one of the biggest cases in modern American history, the anthrax case. 5 people died, 17 injured. They framed and named the wrong man, an innocent man, Stephen Hatfield. That mistake, for which Comey and Mueller never apologized, cost taxpayers more than $5 million. Mueller and Comey are the ones who are now intimately involved in this case. You believe,
as I do, Comey is in severe legal jeopardy?
He absolutely is. And look, he stole government documents. He converted them for his own use, leaked them. That's a couple of different crimes.
Did he rig the investigation into Hillary? Because you don't write an exoneration before investigation, do you?
No, you don't. And the evidence is pretty compelling that he obstructed justice by clearing Clinton.
Let me go to Sarah Carter. Sarah, you at sarahacarter.com. I'll give you a website. It's on my website, Hannity.com. You wrote an amazing. Everybody said Robert Mueller's beyond reproach. I am frankly disappointed in myself that I did not do a deeper dive into who he was. You did. David Schoen did, Greg did, and I am seeing a million things about Robert Mueller that should scare every American.
Well, yes, Sean, because there's a lot of questions that are still left unanswered that he never answered to. And this is regarding specifically those 4 gentlemen who spent decades in prison from 1965 on until 2007, when a jury basically awarded $101 million to the 2 survivors and their families. 2 men died in prison. And it's true, Robert Mueller had sent numerous letters to the parole board denying their parole. And one of the things that we know now based on this trial was that during that time, the FBI actually knew that they were innocent. I mean, they were scolded by the judge, the bureau was, for this. But, you know, Mueller never answered those questions. So we have to be very concerned about their tactics here. And there's something that Professor Alan Dershowitz said that's very true. This is not about the FBI. This is not about the men and women who are serving us in law enforcement and risking their lives every day. This is about abuse of power and people in high-level positions that are not willing to bend. That's what this is about. And we have to be very concerned about this special counsel and the direction that they're going in when we see now that there was no evidence to begin this special counsel from the beginning.
I say, David Schoen, the biggest abuse of power corruption scandal in the history of the country. Is that hyperbole, or are the facts now bearing that out?
It may well play out to be that. Look, if you take the consideration of the FISA court, the implications of false evidence apparently being used through that secret process, it's very, very troubling. They may never see the light of day. But again, you've drawn the parallels that are there to be drawn between Mr. Mueller and Mr. Weissman. They are horrific. The American people need to understand that each one of us has a stake in the integrity of this system. They need to know the facts about Mr. Mueller and Mr. Weissman and their history in the criminal justice system. And quite frankly, Mr. Hannity, you need to look even further, as I know you will, at the rest of this team and some of the other terrible conflicts.
They all know each other. They're all best friends. They go back, Comey and Rosenstein and Mueller and McKay. They're all buddies.
Yes, sir, and even beyond that,
and Peter Strzok's involved in everything.
Yes, sir. And you raised earlier the matter of the Hillary Clinton private emails. Well, of course, a member of this special counsel team represented Hillary Clinton in the investigation.
Jeannie Ray.
Exactly.
Yeah. The conflicts of interest here are sickening. Huge. Quite honestly. Mueller and Comey are longtime friends, allies, and partners. There's a reason why there are legal and ethical rules that demand recusal when you have a prior personal relationship.
You are saying that a special counsel never should have been appointed. It didn't even meet the standard.
The law says you have to have an identifiable crime. It has to be named in the appointment order. Look at the order. It names no such crime. It says investigate Trump-Russia collusion. That's not a crime in any criminal code in America.
David, you agree with Greg's assessment?
I agree that a special counsel should not have been appointed. And I would also add to what Professor Dershowitz said, the regulations that provide for the special counsel expressly provide for an alternative to appointing a special counsel, and that's an inquiry first. But I'd like to say one other point about this that I think is an inherent conflict in the regulations. The special counsel is only to be appointed when a conflict with the Department of Justice is found. How is it possible that so many members of this team come directly from the Department of Justice,
Sarah?
current one?
I give you the last word.
Well, I can't say more than what David Schoen just said right now. There is inherent conflicts of interest here, and the president and his counsel have every right to question it, and so do the American people.
And by the
Sean.
way, let me address Trey Gowdy. Act like you're innocent. The way you act like you're innocent is to say, I didn't do it, which is what the president did.